Sean Combs, known to the world as Diddy, Puff Daddy, or P. Diddy, has long been a towering figure in hip-hop and pop culture. A music mogul who built Bad Boy Records into a powerhouse, launched the careers of icons like the Notorious B.I.G., and redefined celebrity with his lavish lifestyle, Combs seemed untouchable. His parties were legendary, his influence undeniable. But in September 2024, the facade cracked. Federal authorities arrested Combs on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. By July 2025, his trial in New York City had captivated the world, ending in a mixed verdict, acquitted of the gravest charges, but convicted on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution, facing up to a decade in prison. His legal team hailed the outcome as a triumph, but the public remained divided, with many convinced the full story remains untold. At the heart of the trial were allegations of freak-off parties events, described by prosecutors as meticulously orchestrated, drug-fueled sex marathons held in luxury hotels and private mansions. These gatherings, sometimes called Wild King Nights, were not mere parties but, according to the government, a cornerstone of a criminal enterprise. The accusations painted a chilling picture: hired sex workers, rooms staged with red lights and Glade candles, caches of baby oil, and drugs like ketamine and ecstasy. Former employees testified about cleaning up after these events, disposing of used condoms and drug paraphernalia. Most damning was the claim that women, including Combs' former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, were coerced into participating, often through threats or violence. The trial's evidence included a 2016 hotel surveillance video showing Combs assaulting Ventura, a clip that shocked the public when it surfaced in 2024. Voice notes allegedly capturing Combs planning these events, and testimony from former staff further fueled the prosecution's case. Yet despite the vivid details, the jury acquitted Combs of racketeering and sex trafficking, leaving many to wonder why. Online, particularly on platforms like X, speculation exploded. Posts suggested hidden evidence surveillance tapes and additional voice notes never made it to court. Rumors swirled about high-profile attendees at these parties, with some claiming the guest list included A-list celebrities, politicians, and industry titans. The question lingers: what do these alleged freak-off tapes hide, and why were they excluded from the trial? The freak-off parties first came to light through Cassie Ventura's 2023 civil lawsuit against Combs, where she alleged years of abuse and coercion. Her claims, settled out of court, prompted others to come forward, including Don Richard of Danity Kane, who filed a lawsuit in 2024 alleging threats and exploitation. These lawsuits laid the groundwork for the federal case, with prosecutors arguing that Combs used his wealth and influence to orchestrate a network of illicit activities. The term freak-off became a focal point, described as days-long events where participants were allegedly pressured into sexual acts while under the influence of drugs. One witness, a former security guard, recounted transporting women across state lines for these parties, a detail that supported the prostitution charges. The freak-off parties first came to light through Cassie Ventura's 2023 civil lawsuit against Combs, where she alleged years of abuse and coercion. Her claims, settled out of court, prompted others to come forward, including Don Richard of Danity Kane, who filed a lawsuit in 2024 alleging threats and exploitation. These lawsuits laid the groundwork for the federal case, with prosecutors arguing that Combs used his wealth and influence to orchestrate a network of illicit activities. The term freak-off became a focal point, described as days-long events where participants were allegedly pressured into sexual acts while under the influence of drugs. One witness, a former security guard, recounted transporting women across state lines for these parties, a detail that supported the prostitution charges. Yet the defense painted a different picture. Combs' legal team, a so-called dream team of high-powered attorneys, argued that the freak-offs were consensual, extravagant expressions of Combs' lifestyle, not criminal enterprises. They challenged the credibility of witnesses, many of whom had financial disputes with Combs or faced their own legal troubles. The 2016 video, while damning, was contextualized as an isolated incident, not proof of systemic trafficking. The acquittal on major charges suggested the jury found reasonable doubt, but the absence of certain evidence raised eyebrows. Court documents hinted at additional surveillance footage and intercepted communications that were either suppressed or deemed inadmissible. Why? Theories range from legal technicalities to claims of interference by powerful figures. On X, the conversation took a darker turn. Users speculated that the excluded evidence contained names too big to be exposed. Posts pointed to Combs' decades-long connections with music industry giants, Hollywood stars, and even political figures. Some claimed the freak-off tapes, if real, could implicate celebrities who attended these events, either as participants or bystanders. Names like Jay-Z, Usher, and others who collaborated with Combs over the years surfaced in unverified posts, though no concrete evidence links them to wrongdoing. Others suggested the tapes might reveal compromising behavior by non-entertainment elites, fueling conspiracy theories about a cover-up to protect the powerful. One viral thread claimed federal authorities were pressured to limit the trial's scope, citing Combs' influence and the potential fallout of exposing a broader network. The baby oil became an unlikely symbol of the case. During 2024 raids on Combs' Los Angeles and Miami properties, authorities reportedly seized 1,000 bottles of baby oil allegedly used during the freak-offs. The details sparked memes and outrage alike, with ex-users joking about the absurdity while others saw it as evidence of the party's scale. Prosecutors suggested the oil was part of a kit for these events, alongside drugs and sex toys, but the defense dismissed it as a lifestyle quirk, not a crime. The image of supporters dousing themselves in baby oil outside the courthouse in July 2025 only deepened the case's surreal legacy, with some calling it a mockery of the victim's pain. Cassie Ventura's role cannot be overstated. Her courage in filing the 2023 lawsuit, followed by the release of the 2016 video, shifted public perception of Combs from charismatic mogul to potential predator. The video, showing him chasing and attacking her in a hotel hallway, corroborated her claims of physical abuse. Yet Ventura's absence from the criminal trial she did not testify left gaps in the narrative. Some on X speculated she was silenced by a settlement or threats, though her public statements expressed relief at the case's exposure. Other accusers, like Gunna Hine and Dawn Richard, added to the allegations, describing a pattern of manipulation and control. Their lawsuits, still ongoing, suggest the freak-off story is far from over. The question of the tape's contents remains a focal point of intrigue. Prosecutors reference surveillance footage from hotels and Combs properties, but only select clips, like the 2016 video, were shown in court. X posts claim additional tapes exist, possibly held by federal authorities or private parties. Some users allege these recordings capture not just Combs, but a who's who of the entertainment world, engaged in acts that could ruin careers. Others suggest the tapes were destroyed or withheld to avoid a wider scandal. Legal experts, however, point to more mundane explanations. Evidence may have been excluded due to chain of custody issues, privacy concerns, or irrelevance to the specific charges. Still, the lack of transparency fuels suspicion. Combs' empire adds another layer of mystery. Bad Boy Records, once a symbol of hip-hop's golden era, has been haunted by tragedy and controversy since its inception. The unsolved murders of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, both tied to Combs' orbit, have long sparked conspiracy theories. The freak-off allegations, coupled with the trial, have revived questions about whether Bad Boy's success masked darker dealings. Former artists like Maze and the Lox hinted at exploitative contracts and intimidation, though none directly corroborated the freak-off claims. On X, fans speculate that Combs' influence over the industry allowed him to operate unchecked for decades, with some even suggesting ties to organized crime, a claim unproven but persistent. The trial's aftermath has only deepened the enigma. While Combs awaits sentencing for the prostitution convictions, his team is already planning appeals, arguing prosecutorial overreach. Supporters on X portray him as a victim of a biased system, pointing to his acquittal on major charges as proof of his innocence. Critics, including survivors' advocates, argue the verdict reflects a failure to hold powerful men accountable. Celebrities have been divided, 50 Cent mocked Combs online, while others, like Mary J. Blige, have remained silent, perhaps wary of their own ties system. Past ties to Bad Boy, the absence of commentary from some artists has fueled speculation about their knowledge or involvement. Posts on X suggest fear of exposure may keep some silent, though no evidence supports this. The conspiracy theories thrive in this vacuum of information. Some claim the government suppressed evidence to protect high-profile figures, while others point to Combs' wealth and connections as a shield. Legal analysts counter that evidence exclusion is common in complex cases, yet the idea of a hidden elite network persists. The freak-off tapes, real or not, have become a symbol of what might remain unseen, a Pandora's box of secrets that could reshape the industry. Combs' legacy hangs in the balance. Once a cultural icon, he now faces a tarn of up to 10 years. The partial conviction and ongoing lawsuits suggest his legal battles may continue, but the questions surrounding the tapes and the parties linger. On X, users debate whether justice was served or subverted, with many convinced that the truth remains locked away in unseen evidence. The fascination with these mysteries tapes, guest lists, cover-ups reflects a broader distrust of power and privilege in the entertainment world. As the dust settles, the focus shifts to what might come next. Will more tapes surface? Will new lawsuits reveal further details? The public's hunger for answers ensures this story is far from over, with X serving as a breeding ground for speculation and intrigue. The freak-off tapes, whether they exist or not, have become a lightning rod for questions about accountability, power, and the secrets of the elite.